I would like to know of some of your experiences because I read somewhere,
Mhm.
and if I'm not mistaken, long time ago, you had mentioned this to me that you had played for Modi and also for Michelle Obama.
Yeah.
What was your experience at that point in
Yeah.
time?
These two are pretty much the highlights of some amazing people I've worked with. Back in 2010, when the Obamas visited Mumbai, wow, this opportunity was like a godsend, na? Company was, just the momentum was really building, and this helped give us a good push. So I got a call from a friend who used to work in an organization called MAD, or Make a Difference.
Okay.
And he said, "Hey, we'd like you to do a drum circle." I said, "Great, this is what I do. Amazing. We have a very special guest." So I said, "Great, good for you." He didn't name the guest. So I was like, "Amazing, special guest, awesome." And in our conversations, I realized that this person was focusing on the fact that the guest is really, really special. And I'm like, okay, like, what do you want? I can get you a big drum for this. what do I do? So then, okay, discussion went on. And then finally came, and like, hey, you're speaking about this guest, like, who, then who's, what's this? You're building it up so much. And they couldn't tell me until I guess all the things were done, and they said, "Oh wow, it's the first, the first lady, Michelle Obama, the then first lady." And I'm like, "Oh wow, okay, now I understand why you didn't tell me this before." So I said, "Okay, this changes things." I played it cool, however, on the outside, and then my God, of course, the session was such a blur because everything happened very quickly.
Okay.
But as a prep for this, I had to submit
a lot of documents.
a lot of documents, just as if I was applying for a visa to go there. So funny. And then all the stereotypes of what you hear of this gentleman dressed in a suit with an earpiece, coming. He came up to me and
The security.
yeah, and addressed me by first and second name.
Okay.
I'm like, wow, obviously this gentleman has read up on me. Like, where will you be standing? So Mr. Venkit, where will you be standing when the first lady arrives? And I wanted to tell him that I'll stand wherever the hell you want me to stand. But anyway, jokes apart, it was a really beautiful session. The then first lady played a tambourine.
She played the tambourine.
I know that she wanted a drum, but it would look weird. When you hold the drum, you hold the drum.
In between, yeah.
Like this.
All right.
So
and she was wearing a dress, I
yes,
assume.
yes.
Okay.
So I said, of course. But then, it's so amazing. She's got this radiant smile. She's tall. Her aura is so
larger than life.
And he spoke for what 10 seconds where she appreciated the work that I do and wished me luck. And wow, it was amazing.
So was she musically inclined?
Very, oh my God, she's got rhythm. I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
And this is a famous a thing about the Obamas that well, Michelle's got the rhythm and Obama sort of Barack not
okay,
so much,
sorry. Lips sealed, is that it?
Yeah, I can't say it out there. But of course, they've got rhythm. It's amazing.
My God, we should not be silenced. Okay, all right.
The session went off really well, and till today, I mean, I sort of
when you look back,
I remember that very fondly, and with every sort of quotation that goes out today, the first reference video is obviously then.
Your experience with Modi.
Yeah, right. This here I didn't have so much of a personal experience, but it was really amazing because at the time, Shri Modi was meeting so then President, Prime Minister of Japan, Shinzo Abe.
Okay.
Yeah. And this was in Varanasi, and we had to prepare. Like I would do this as a curator of performances. I curated an Indo-Japanese percussion,
marvelous,
cultural fusion thing, and it's very lovely. I got the chance to work with some amazing, artists: Sridhar Parthasarathy on mridangam, Ravi Chari on sitar, Satyajit Talwalkar on tabla, Gino Banks on drums, Sheldon on bass. Yogini Gandhi was the MC, the sutradhar of our event. And so we spoke about the concept and we came up with this haiku that we presented. So it was really beautiful, I think. And I played a sort of taiko-inspired percussion set.
So how long did you spend
long
curating all of this?
We spent 4-5 days in person. But then from an ideation front, I spent a long time. And the actual performance was, guess how many minutes?
I don't know, 2 minutes?
No, it was 13 minutes. It was really short. So all that, we went a day before, stay and security, all that. And we were playing for, their meal, basically.
All right.
Yeah, it was.
So what did
Shinzo Abe? Right?
Yes.
Yeah. So what is the question? What did he say?
So what did he say after you finished your performance?
Exactly. So we were hoping for an interaction. We didn't have an interaction because just sort of ate and left. Huh? So we couldn't interact, but of course we got feedback.
That is what I'm looking for. What is the kind of feedback that you got?
We got good feedback indirectly, but we were of course hoping for,
for them to come up to you personally and say something.
I mean, either, but we didn't get that chance.
Okay. Not even Modi, huh?
No. But it was nice to take that all in. And really, really interesting thing about this event was there was a lot of waiting, right? Obviously, because there's security to wait for days and hours and hours. And the performance is a short one, and the prep is so long, as I said. So I was wondering, like, how do people do this? And then Sridhar Parthasarathy, the wizard that he is, he said, Baba, this is what you're getting paid for. Because you're the waiting. You're playing for free. I said, that changed perspective altogether. Same, because you're doing what you love. You're sharing your art. And what amount of money will sort of justify that? Nothing, right? So you play, you share your spirit for free. You're getting paid for the hullabaloo that's around.
That's a wise man.
He's called the wizard of percussion for good reason. Yeah. So that was these events stand out. Yeah.
So how were you accepted after all of that by your students? They may have looked up to you all the more.
Yeah.
How did that affect you personally? What did it do for you?
It's an interesting question. So for me, it definitely. When I think about it now, I feel very grateful to have had the chance to do this, right? Because, wow, if someone asked me if someone told me that this would happen, I would not have believed that. So I'm really grateful that these occasions and these situations came my way, honestly. And and more than that, I think it's the journey of getting to share stage with these amazing artists.
Absolutely.
Have a coffee in the morning, start the day about what we're going to do, and hey, wow, we're having coffee and we're going to play where the Prime Minister of our country is going to listen to us. No, at close quarters. So when who would have thought about that? Similar to 2010 when I was moving drums, because security, only I was cleared security, my team wasn't. So I was just lifting a lot of drums, 35, 40 drums one time at a time. And while doing this, I'm thinking, hey, okay, I'm doing like a physical, laborious job, but hey, I'm doing this, and the first lady is going to be a part of the drum circle. Like, who would have thought of that, right?
Yeah,
so while carrying the drums, okay, this is worth it. It's so after that, it helped me, believe in miracles and magic happening. It helped me remember to keep my feet firmly planted on the ground and not let all this get to your head, I guess.
Wonderful, wonderful. So we've spoken about your journey where you are a healer, and I'm sure you may have really, really healed quite a few people. What we would like to know is, how is it that rhythm works in helping to heal individuals?
That's a great question. So, working with rhythm with groups. So this is pretty much the crux of what we do. Depending on the group that we work with, we first identify what objective we need to see movement in. And these behavior parameters will change. So let's say, currently we have a program running at the a center for children in conflict with the law.
Mhm.
So this is where children under 18 who've been convicted of crimes will be kept for a short period of time. And we work there every week.
Mhm.
We've got amazing challenges to work with them. I think they can be kept there only for 21 days without reasonable doubt.
All right.
And thereafter, they've either got to be convicted or set free.
Mhm.
So here, when we work, the main aim is to give them an avenue to vent their emotions, to just express themselves. Because I mean, I can't even imagine what they're going through, when they're in this center. So the aim is to make it as hospitable as possible. Give them, give them a place where they can be kids, enjoy, have fun, and from this process, make or hold space for some sort of self-expression where
Okay.
if and when they feel like sharing something about their lives personally, that they can then be connected to the counselor who is in-house there.
So then are you using what? Just drums or the
We're
djembe or
using-
any other
We're using
instrument?
a mix of instruments.
mix of
So it
instruments.
doesn't matter what instrument you use when you're using rhythm with groups. We
Absolutely.
can use our bodies as instruments and work with groups using body percussion, using vocal percussion, using junk percussion, using all kinds of instruments.
Right.
Of course, the djembe is used very
Yes.
commonly.
Yeah.
And therefore, sometimes the misconception that, I play djembe means I can do drum circles. But I cannot emphasize how it's not the same. Working with groups requires a very special kind of skill set. It requires understanding of psychology, understanding of expressive arts therapy, understanding of the art modality that you're using. And back in the day when I was studying, there were not so many courses, but right now you have so many courses, right? From
Yes.
dance movement therapy, expressive art therapy, visual art therapy, music therapy. There's so much to study, and you can really super specialize in various disciplines and truly make a difference, but also understanding that, a therapist, a practitioner has a great responsibility, just like a doctor.
True.
When you're working with a group like this, because you'll need to know what it takes to deal with when a child like this has an anger outburst or is going to physically attack another child. Is it just stop? When does tough love stop working?
Yes.
When kids just need to be given the chance to be kids. And it's not about you, because many a time they'll press your buttons and not to let that justify a reaction.
Yeah.
So that's truly something you learn through study.
So again, you are studying each individual in that particular crew
Yeah.
to create a module for them?
Yes,
or you're
and
given
no.
a gist.
Yes and no, because some of them are there for a long period. A major part of the group is very transient. They come and go.
All right.
So we have a very interesting challenge with this particular group to work in this way that we can address the long-term participants' needs along with the ones who are there for a couple of sessions. So we use the older participants as our help, as our plants in the session to help the newer ones. So that helps them feel a sense of belonging.
Very nice.
Right?
Very
So
nice.
that really helps us engage with everybody.
So are these kids who are behind bars, or is there a house for them? They're delinquents? What is it?
Yeah, so we don't say remand home or delinquents anymore from a nomenclature perspective.
Absolutely.
So you say children in conflict with the law. And the center is no longer called a remand home, but it's called an observation center.
This is what I wanted to know. I wanted clarification on that.
So, but yes, of course, life there is very restricting. It's stressful. It's it's not pleasant.
So this definitely helps them to become more joyful.
I would like to think so. So along with this, we also, the organization that has hired us also does a lot of other art-based work, like a simple dance class, sports, so that it gives them an avenue to vent their energy, right? And very, very important is access to a counselor, access to occupational therapy. So there's quite a lot of stuff going on there.
Brilliant.
So in this way, rhythm and arts can be used as medicine, and that is pretty much our main focus at this point. One of the other examples of where we work is at a school in Pirangut for children and adults with special needs.
Oh.
So here's where we use drumming, once again, group rhythm. So we use djembe, we'll use different instruments, percussion instruments, shakers, tambourines. The whole aim is to get small, noticeable, like make a small, noticeable difference. The rhythm may not sound great, but the idea that we're engaging with them, that they're using all parts of their hand and they're kinesthetically activating nerve endings.
Yeah, absolutely.
The fact that they're engaged, they're mirroring the facilitator. When they see the facilitator raise their hands and play 3 times, they're following
You've
that.
got to call me to one of these. I'd love to observe
Yeah,
you.
it's quite amazing. So we get calls a lot. We're called a lot by these organizations that work with special needs groups for a one-off session. But my response to them is, a one-off session really won't do much, because it's going to, in fact, raise their hopes only to be sort of felt like they're being let down. So the important thing with such groups is to do ongoing work, and that's when you truly see a difference.
So are they accepting of that, these
Now,
organizations?
now yes, very much so. I think it's the white hair now that is on my head, and the fact that
that is making them take you seriously. Is
think
that
so.
it?
I think so.
Okay.
They're definitely taking me more seriously now than in 2006 and 7.
I guess we need to be educated in
Yeah.
these aspects of life.
Absolutely. And today I think there is definitely more acceptance of arts and arts-based interventions. I mean, see, when there's a Bollywood movie being made about how mental health matters and art matters, then things are going to be accepted.
It's different.
So that's, and I have our film stars to thank.
Wonderful. I wish you all the best, and you've got to call me the next time you go to one of these.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
I'd love to be a part of that.
And, this really feeds into our goal of a drum in every house, right? Right? What does that signify? I mean, what is that symbol of? It is
a togetherness, a harmony,
exactly,
a rhythm within.
Right. So, I mean, celebrating our commitment to ourselves, meaning that I think we don't sing, drum, dance, paint as much as we should. And when I say paint, sing, drum, I don't mean to win a competition.
Yeah.
I really don't, because what matters, I mean, in arts-based therapy practices, the process is a lot more important than the product. It doesn't matter whether the rhythm I'm playing is correct, supremely correct. I mean, if I'm not a percussionist, it doesn't matter. I'm here to express myself using the drum or fine art or movement, and that helps me process my emotions better.
Absolutely.
And this is getting closer and closer to the root cause of dis-ease. I mean, medical science and allopathy helps us get to the symptom and the trigger of the issue, but
the root cause.
A lot of the time, I mean, I think arts and different self-healing practices will help us make these small shifts that will actually truly heal us.
Wonderful.
And so a drum in every house is an aim, let's say, maybe I was young and I thought of this, so maybe it's a naive aim, but it's an ambition of a young, hopeful artist who wants to instigate change, positive change in this world, facilitate positive change, movement.
And I wish you all the best for this, Varun Venkit, because it's the need of the hour.
Yeah,
it's the need of the hour. So Varun, tell us of your journey at the corporate world.
Right.
You've been working over there with large corporates and their teams to bring in some team bonding and harmony in the corporate world.
Yeah. Wow. Working with corporates, we've done this for almost 2 decades now. And the most common type of work is the large format one-off sessions. That means 100, 200, 300, 500,000 people meeting for an annual ceremony, an award ceremony, something like an annual event of sorts. And the group drumming is something that starts this program or finishes it off, right?
Nice.
So it's really interesting, because this is a fun kind of avenue to introduce interactive drumming. I don't call it drum circle because, usually in such a large group, there's no circle. It's a theater style amphitheater format, or it's a cluster seating, right? So
Yes.
no circle means don't call it a drum circle. So an interactive drumming event is great to add that energy to the group, start it off on a high, end the program on a high, and really make a difference. People remember that, and then they get into their networking or their dinner and things like that. So that's a great way to work. Then there's the other work where we go slightly deeper, meaning more than the fun and recreation, more than अरे मजा आया, मजा तो TV देखने में भी आता है, right? So we want to go deeper. So okay, then we go. Here's the again decently large group, but still one-off event. But we have a training goal, meaning we have a team bonding goal. We have a goal about communication, about stress reduction, about listening skill, about what did I say? Leadership.
De-stressing.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Being in the here and now. So
sorry to have interrupted. I can understand all of this, but how is it that you bring in communication through drumming?
Right. Super. Thank you for asking that, because now, even the team building or communication. Now, one of the most important things when you're drumming together is the very act of drumming together shows that we're playing our part, listening to what our partners are playing, and subconsciously synchronizing with what they're playing. We are having a very individual and yet a group experience. We are listening to someone else's part who's playing something similar, but yet something different. And yet we are playing together. So we may not be saying the same thing, but yet we're coexisting. So in that I'm listening to what you have to say. It's different from what I have to say, yet we're moving together happily. So in a way, if you're drumming together, that means you're showing that you are a good team player, that you are a good listener, that you are in fact a good leader and a good follower. So we'll make these experiences more real through, of course, examples in the session. We go into a lot more detail. But when the group experiences this without too much jargon, then suddenly they have this twinkle in their eye saying, what did I just do? Wow, it's amazing, right? So in a way, being human means to synchronize, because no man is an island. We're all working together. And in fact, when we're not synchronizing, that's usually the time there are issues, which happens also in a drum circle, meaning we have many drum circle train wrecks and the rhythm just falls. And that's a great moment to ask everybody, saying, hey, wow, let's celebrate this moment, because now we know what it feels like to fall out of rhythm, because everything changes, nothing remains static. So this is there's some examples of how I work in a sort of corporate training session, but still one-off. But I'm actually here to say that that's still the tip of the iceberg, both these examples. What is really going to bake your cookie is that when you work with this group, one group over a period of time, using maybe different art-based interventions and talking about different behavioral goals, which have been identified based on a needs analysis, that's when you're now starting to create a culture of expression. So it's not just a one-off thing. हाँ किया मजा आया भूल गया. मतलब नहीं कुछ सीखा भी, but how long has that lasted? Maybe not so long, or maybe I've gotten back to my ways. Like one of those diets that we've tried and not succeeded in, right? So in this case, when we're working over working on a monthly basis, let's say, every month we'll address a new behavioral goal.
Okay.
So the first month, let's say, will be team building, or just rapport building. Second month, team building. Third month, leadership. Fourth month, listening skill. So things like this, we'll of course set it up. We'll set it up so that it's customized and it makes more sense to you and your team. And then we won't just make baseless assumptions. We'll track as much progress as we can through qualitative reporting methods. And we'll actually sort of put our money where our mouth is, no? Otherwise, it's very easy to say, drum se ye hota hai, wo hota hai, sab kuch hota hai, and drum is amazing.
It's the practical experience that matters.
And then, so to actually serve as an HR support function, which is our aim, we'll need to really put some measurable data to what we're saying. Okay, the drum will help you reduce attrition to this much,
Hmm.
or at least increase productivity by minimum this much. But
Yes.
provided you give us some time. Matlab, ek time when if you make us jump once and then forget about it for the rest of the year, it may not
One-off,
happen.
yeah.
One-off may not work, but in
Mm,
a monthly activity will help. And in addition to this, having a mental health professional on call for your team of employees will help.
Wonderful.
So that's something that we will do
Yeah.
as well. So
Mhm.
we're really taking it very, very seriously when we say that, hey, we'll support your HR function,
Wonderful.
and that's pretty much that something that's gonna take us into the next decade,
And it's
because
required at the
yeah.
corporate world. I'm part of the corporate world myself, so I know exactly what you're saying,
it's
and it's a rat race. It's high time. The stressors can get to you.
right.
You can
That's-
change your behavioral pattern completely.
yeah. People are like snapping at the drop of a hat.
Oh, yes. The aggression is building.
Well, you can see it around you, and so
There's no more any empathy, compassion. You can't even draw it out of them.
my God. So
Yeah.
people need these.
We need this. We need
activities to
this.
vent
We need
and-
these activities. Varun, thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
coming on this talk show of ours
Thank you for having me.
and for giving us these tremendous insights and these little bursts of wisdom. And this djembe over here,
Mm.
would you play me a bit, please?
Of course.
Yeah, we'll
Absolutely.
end on this note over here, because the djembe is that African instrument that brings in harmony, that brings in peace, that is used at harvest times to celebrate prosperity, and Varun Venkit's wish to have a djembe in
Or any
every
drum.
home,
Or any drum.
or any drum in every home, because music is the harmony of life. Thank you so much, Varun. Thank you. Thank you.